Hi and welcome back to Summer. This is part 36, and in this part we will be having a quite interesting boss fight. To those who have played the game, I'm sure you're eagerly awaiting. Now, the thing is with Fleece is that she's a fairly physically weak character. Of course, she's meant to be like the rogue, and I want to say she gets better as the game goes on, which she does, but yeah, she doesn't really become really strong like the male melee characters. Saying that, I was saying that she's a lot more durable than Rosalind. Of course, we see Vitalise here, a very useful ability, which I'm hoping to teach Jakar quite soon. Particularly because, put it this way, Jakar having good healing abilities, it will become quite useful coming up. Now, as for this fireball technique, I'm showing off because it was fairly useful, I suppose, but I guess in hindsight it's best just attacking enemies. This method does take a while. Yep, I've got these Onis on a slow roast. And I just love how my party members just stand in the firewall. Now, I do realise that I'm still using a sword with Joseph, and I think at some point I do make the switch to a blunt weapon, which is probably for the best. Now, speaking of which, again, we're going to get a ring at the end of this dungeon. The Ring of Forest, obviously. And it has, I would say, a summon that comes with it, and it's an okay summon. It's called the Poison Elemental, and it does have its uses, but not really a summon I use a lot of. Oh, I love that backslap ability. And something I wanted to mention is that this game does have critical hits, but I'm not sure what kind of damage they do. I mean, is it just double damage per se? Or is it even triple damage? Anyway, in this sort of hidden under the tree bark here, there's a slight hidden cave with some quite interesting items. One of them being the blank parchment. Now, this is for a side quest I think we sort of mentioned in the beginning of the game. Yeah, we did. But anyway, it doesn't really get going until we bring the blank parchment back to the city of the Kosani. And of course, once you leave Orania, you can't really come back to it. So, yeah, you might want to pick that up. At this point, I got really fed up with killing the same enemies over and over. If I don't, I can't wait to see the back of these guys. And again, I'm using the Celestial Samurai, just because I like the design. But I kind of feel maybe the blue imp with his healing spells would have been more useful. But when I was recording this, I wanted to make a point of showing off all these summons. Anyway, I take a look around here. I'm not sure what I expect to find. I think at this point I'm still looking to find that item, Bane's Kiss, which I do sort of go back for. But yeah, once you cross that bridge here, you get a boss fight. So at this point, I'm casting healing spells, I'm casting Protect and Regenerate. I do think that I probably should have had regenerate casting on all along. I think it really would help to counteract all these poison spells I'm experiencing. Also, not to mention the Bless spell, because I haven't really we haven't seen much use out of it, but it kind of works like Protect, except it only affects one party member at a time. But you can see there is a Protect spell. What that does is reduce physical damage to your entire party. And the best thing is that it's a fairly low level, it's a holy spell. That's it. It's a fairly low level holy spell. And other than that, the holy magic, I wouldn't say it's too useful. I mean, just level it's up enough to get to Protect. Because, yeah, I think that one move really helps it out in boss fights. But anyway, onwards. Yep, that's right. We're gonna have two riders at the same time. Oh, watch out! They can hover 3 feet above the ground. But it's okay because we're apparently made out of kryptonite. Now, of course, in the forest that's full of poison, we do fight the Viper Rider. No, the Serpent Rider, that's it. And his Nasty Whip will cast status effects, so he will probably be your main priority. Now, we're also fighting the Phoenix Rider, who will cast lots of fire magic, but fortunately the game does throw you a bone and he won't use his Resurrect ability, which is helpful. So it's not... I defeated that guy fairly quickly. But, yeah, what can I say? I didn't really find this too difficult, but that's probably because I sort of cheesed my way through it with the backstab. You know, that and all the healing spells I cast beforehand really helps neutralise these guys. Well, we cast Firewall, and my party members will probably stay in the Firewall and continue to get damaged. He's taking advantage of the poor AI. Curse that man. But yeah, that was over before it started, really. So yeah, not really much I can say. We fight two riders at the same time, and really, your biggest enemy is the poisoning that's all around you. But yeah, not really much advice I can give you. Just, you know, go for the Serpent Rider first. But anyway, you go over to their bodies and you pick up some really quite useful items. Anyway, these items here, they seem to be made just for Fleece. You know, this robe of restoration, a fairly useful piece of armour for Rosalind there. Not to mention the preservation ring. Yeah, so it seems like the items you get from these 4 riders, each one of them corresponds to one of your party members. In this case, you know, we've got some items for Fleece and one for Rosalind, so I guess that's a plus. Now, back in the back of the house here, I had to sort of cut back to this. We find Bane's Kiss, which is an item we need for Nandi the Gatherer. Yep, just popping on the map just to remind you where it is. Although, like I said, Bane's Kiss. Ah, Batman. When Wolong is in ruins, you have my permission to die. Yeah, it must be really awkward getting a kiss off Bane though, with that big metal thing on his face. Yeah, in fact, Bane's Kiss is probably a euphemism for getting a piece of metal jabbed in your face. But yeah, that is the last item we need for the Nandi the Gatherer side quest. And yeah, really, that was the. I would say that's one of the biggest obstacles in this dungeon. But there is a sort of hard piece of. Well, how can I put this? It's sort of like an event coming up, which actually I guess will be more challenging than these two riders. But there you go. Now you might be thinking, we just fought two riders there. Does that mean we fought the other two riders at the same time later on? And the answer is yes. But you'll see that coming up later on, and yeah, it doesn't. I do that that second boss fight fairly easily. And now, in terms of the layout of this forest, there's just really the shrine coming up. Ah, the Omni. I wonder if they're really evil or just a bit monstrous. But right, up in this corner you have Longu's hat, and I like how it looks like a dunce's hat. Which suits the man, if you ask me. Yeah, so I really think I'll give this dungeon credit for is the fact that all these like extra side quest items aren't really hidden obscurely. You just need to keep your eyes open. So join me again in the next part.